The conversations between human and ghost are familiar. Have you ever encountered a demon summoning a human soul? In the room, a scene cyclically occurred. Today Harry will accompany you to watch a movie with the continually reverse point of view, Haunter. Wake up, Harry has released a new episode. Let's go downstairs and watch. In the morning, the girl was woken up by the noise in the two-way radio, and she found her brother engrossed in the television. Hi, is it Harry's movie? I watched every episode multiple times. Now the fans call me by deceitful Lisa. Carol's mother appeared at the door when she just finished her sentence. She said, "Our car is broken, your father has been fixing it all day. Tomorrow is your birthday, I'm not sure whether we can fix it in time." Lisa impatiently said, "You can't fix it." And she went down to the basement and did the laundry. After breakfast, Lisa was in her room. She took out a black and ugly flute and played it. She was in the middle of playing it when Carol told her to go downstairs, and asked her why there were some missing clothes, after she washed them. Lisa was indifferent and said, "I don't know where the clothes are. In fact, the clothes have gone missing every day." "Why do you say every day?" Her father couldn't explain it. Lisa sighed and explained one more time. "Every day we repeatedly eat donuts for breakfast, eat noodles for lunch, and eat meat for dinner." "This, honey, do you want a BQQ?" her father asked. "No," she shook her head in distress. "Every day you fix the car, mom cooks the same food, we watch Harry's video at 8 and go to bed." The next day, the same thing happened. Her parents obviously didn't believe in such nonsense. The next day, the two-day radio made noise at the head of the bed. "Wake up, Harry has released a new episode. Let's go downstairs and watch." Just like what Lisa said, the whole family was in an unstoppable repeated cycle. But apart from her, no one realized that. She opened the curtain, saw the house was surrounded by fog, and sighed. When she picked up the black and ugly flute and played it, she was again interrupted. This voice wasn't her mother's. A girl called Lisa's name. The sound echoed in the room. For a long time, finally, there was something unusual happening. Lisa checked every corner, but nothing was found. At midnight, Lisa desperately cried when covered by the blanket. Suddenly she saw a pair of feet, standing in front of her door. She worriedly walked out of the room and saw that the door of the attic was open. Lisa was frightened and didn't dare to enter the room. That night, a new cycle began. During the day, Lisa dared to enter the attic. A tape caught her eyes. It was the celebration video since years ago, when her family first moved here. After watched it again and again, she realized a human shadow in the window. "Who are you?" Lisa whispered. "Is there a ghost?" She quickly found a roulette and tried communicating with the soul. That time there was a voice. "Lisa, do you wash the clothes today?" This voice frightened Lisa to death. That someone continued speaking, "Go wash clothes." It turned out to be her mother. Lisa rolled her eyes and didn't pay attention to her. When she turned back, the light flickered. On the television screen, there was an image of a person who was standing behind her back. She freaked out. She stormed out of the attic without looking back. At dinner, the whole family gathered around the table, and repeated the same daily conversation. The father lit up a cigarette and enjoyed himself. Lisa spaced out. Her father didn't smoke before. They should have been watching Harry's video as usual, but today they didn't. Lisa found it unbelievable. Doesn't Harry like us anymore? Or is the cycle broken? A night went by. Lisa woke up again. The sound in the two-way radio turned into, "Go downstairs quickly, there is something wrong." Her brother's frightening voice traveled to her. She ran downstairs as fast as possible, and saw her father, pushed her mother against the wall, and yelled at her, about she stealing his spark plug, so the car couldn't be repaired. That time, the doorbell rang. A man who called himself an electrician came in. He walked directly into Lisa's room. "How long have you been awake?" the man asked. "For a week." Lisa didn't understand his intention. He might be the savior or the devil, but he insisted on knowing the truth. The man approached Lisa. The devil's low voice echoed in her ears, "Don't respond to any voice in this room. Don't disrupt the cycle or you will regret for eternity." On the sunglasses of the man, Lisa saw the reflection of herself. It was a skeleton. After the man left, the house once again fell into the usual repetition. The grumbling mother, the gentle father, the naughty younger brother. Watching Harry's movie at 8 o'clock. Lisa couldn't put up with this falsehood. She ran out through the door without turning back. Across the thick fog. But, no matter which direction she went, she always returned to the house. She thought about the reflection of her on the sunglasses. All the speculations ran through her mind. She and her family might be dead, and trapped in this house. Every day they repeated, the last things they did before dying. Lisa tiredly opened her bedroom door. Unexpectedly, a person was lying on her bed. She was a blonde girl with emerald eyes. She suddenly opened her eyes and seized Lisa's hands. "Help me, look at the floor." Beneath the floor, Lisa woke up in the next morning. She quickly cut the rug. Obviously, there was a piece of wood separated from the others. Inside there was an old diary recording everything since 1953. Near this house, many girls went missing. The culprit was still unknown. There was a key in the diary. It was the key for the basement door. Lisa opened the door and stepped in. It was a dark and damp secret room. Woman jewelry scattered on the floor. She picked up a watch. She hardly looked at it carefully when she glimpsed a person being burnt in the fire. When she returned to her room, the man wearing sunglasses called. "I don't like nosy people. You've known too much." The second after that, time went by in a blink. Lisa stared at her family growing old and passing away, turning into 3 corpses. Yes, this was the punishment for trying to find the truth. Time went by, Lisa raised her head, her family members were gathering around her. In order to keep her family around, Lisa didn't dare to answer the girl's voice. But that girl appeared in the mirror. At the moment she touched the girl, Lisa was transported into her body. In her house, Lisa found the truth. Her name was Olivia. Olivia was alive. This was the real world. More than 10 years ago, Lisa's family were all dead. The cause of their death was CO poisoning. The newspaper reported their death. Years later, Olivia's family moved into this house. The strange things kept happening since then. Lisa was sensitive to find out that Olivia's parents also repeated all the things that her family did on the last day of their life. When Lisa returned to her body, she was deceived by her brother and went to the basement. Her brother said he had an imaginary friend called Pale Man. Pale Man was the man with sunglasses. Lisa discovered a tunnel to the garage. She tried to climb up, and found a girl in old-fashioned clothes banging on the door. This girl was the first person who was harmed in the diary, Nichols. Lisa quickly asked, "Who killed you?" But she didn't even know that she was dead. Lisa told her, "More than 10 years ago you were dead, your soul has been trapped in this house, every day you repeat the same things you did before dying. You have to wake up." Suddenly, a hand aggressively pulled Nichols out of the garage. "This is my territory." Pale Man growled angrily. Lisa again entered Olivia's body. Olivia sent her a video that told her that this house before she moved in belonged to Pale Man. Those years he killed numerous girls and burnt them in the secret room. In 1983, he died. "I don't know exactly what happened, but please find out the truth and save my family." Now Olivia's father turned into Pale Man. Apparently, when he died, he became a demon. He stole the body of every man who moved into this house. He killed the whole family, and trapped them in a vicious cycle. Her mother's voice woke Lisa up. She again returned to her real house. Her mother soon realized that she was dead already. She told Lisa that every day she hid the clothes, so they went missing. She found out that there was something wrong with her husband, so she packed the stuff, and intended to leave with her children at midnight. But it was too late. Lisa's interrogation reminded her father of how his family died. That night, Pale Man entered the father's body and used diethyl ether to put the whole family to sleep. After that, he kept them in the car and used CO to poison them. Her parents and her brother woke up. They opened the door and saw the sun rising. Her brother walked out first, then her mother, and her father. When her father smiled and told Lisa everything was alright, Lisa shed a tear and gently closed the door. That's true, Olivia was waiting for her. And many dead girls were still trapped in the cycle. Lisa once again entered Olivia's body. It was just now Olivia's father was completely controlled by Pale Man. He rushed into Olivia's room, looking for her. Lisa ran down the staircase, and found the door to the secret room, took all the stuff of the dead girls and continuously rubbed it. She mumbled, "It's time to wake up. Together we bring that damn bastard to hell." In the room, there was silence, no one reacted. Lisa fell unconscious again because of Pale Man. When she woke up, her limbs were tied up, and she was tossed into the car. That scene was the same as more than 10 years ago. Her whole family were killed by Pale Man in this way. Lisa quickly used the lighter to burn the duct tape and escaped. It was raining heavily outside. Pale Man chased after her. "Your time was over. Your family were all dead, you have nothing." Pale Man grabbed Lisa. When he forced her to get out of Olivia's body, a shadow appeared in the middle of the storm. It was Nichols. She pointed at Pale Man. At the same time, all the girls who were murdered also appeared. They finally got out of the cycle. Innumerable souls rushed in. They also used diethyl ether, made him unconscious and threw him into the secret room, and burnt him to death. That demon turned into ashes, like what he did to those girls before. Olivia's family was safe. When Lisa opened her eyes, the two-way radio transmitted her brother's voice. "Lisa, Harry has a new episode again. Today's your birthday, Harry has made 2 episodes especially for you." Lisa was surprised and walked down the stair, and found out that her family was waiting for her. The door gently opened, the light was shining. They went to heaven. This is the end of the movie. The main character finally gave up on her fake life and ended the vicious cycle on her own. Luckily there is light at the end of the tunnel. Eventually, she could gather with her family in heaven. Yes, time keeps going by from this year to another year. Many people also seem to repeat their boring life daily. But remember, happiness is always beside you. Such as Harry's movies. Like, follow and comment, to let our videos get rid of your boring daily life. Subscribe to us to integrate in the magnificent movie world.